Good morning. Good morning. I have not wanted to talk here for a couple of days. I am getting ready to go out this morning. No use in burning energy if I ain't got to. Shit. All them lights on. No, I don't need all them lights on. Okay? Okay? So I am up in my thoughts this morning, but feel like sharing them. Then again, I'd be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to share that one or not. And I don't. So, but anyway, I have, this is like my natural hair. And for years, I have felt like it is not good enough because when I was young and growing up, I felt like it had to be straight and everybody was straightening out their hair. And so I had to have mine straighter than this too, but it was hard to maintain that straightness. It comes back to this real easily. I'm just learning how to, in spite of what anybody else thinks, any opinion, anything. The only one I want to matter is mine because it's my hair. It's my mane. I have to groom it. And I would hope that if someone else has to groom it for me, that they would respect my head and my hair and my ears, my neck, and all of the things that they come in contact with, that they would respect it the same way that I would. And I love when other people wash my hair and stuff. It just that it takes so much time. And I went to this shop in Lithia Springs off Thornton Road. I can't remember the name of the shop, but it's a Dominican shop. And this lady in there, she may have been the older stylist in there. She could lay some hair and grow some hair too. Her hands would just move so swift, and she was kind of short, and she would stand up on them tippy toes and she would curl that hair under. Then she would come around and she would just twirl them irons, and she looked at the hair as it came off and she just pulled it off, and it had to be perfect. And I'm like fascinated at this, how she's working that hair like a paintbrush. She just getting it all, and she making every curve just stand out in the lady hair. It was nice. Thick, beautiful head of hair. And she had just got it colored. And she had like this brown, a darker brown, a lighter brown, and maybe her natural color in there. Like she went through with the foil, and she, I don't know what you call it, dyed the hair. Yeah, not bleach. Bleach would be when you use the stuff that strip all of the color out of your hair and turn your hair like completely white. I think she did not use that. She had color in it. Or no, because she didn't. Okay, she didn't use no bleach on her hair because she foiled it in its natural color, and when it came out, it was the color. It wasn't no two-step process. But when I tell you she laid that hair, and I'm like, oh wow, her hair is so pretty. And then I got the other chair. It's not, it is kind of funny because although she did a great job. And although I was expecting her not to, because she did a great job too. And then I came back a second time and a third, but I don't go that often. I don't. It's like if I might just be in the mood. And the last time that I got my hair done like that by her was Mother's Day. Mother's Day when? I don't remember the year. But anyway, that was when I had got my hair done again. But anyway, I'm trying to learn how to like it just like this. And to go outside with it full. But it's so aggravating, I can't lie, because then I hide my hair. Because I don't like when people say, oh, your hair is so pretty. And I just don't see it. I can't. That was let me tell you the curls that I like. I know I never have them. I have to pay for those curls. I have to pay to get my hair curled up like that hair was. My friend girl and I were out at this restaurant, and I cannot remember the name of the restaurant, but we were somewhere, I'm gonna say in Austell. And this young man who happened to be our waiter, his hair was like straight. And have you ever seen the rod that may be about this big? His curls looped up, and his hair was jet black and just silky straight, and like it had just a shine, just a natural glow. Bing! I'm like, my hand just dropped straight out to it. I said, can I touch your hair? I said, are these your natural curls? He said, yeah. He said, my mom hair. I got it from my mom. She has the same curls too, and the hair was just beautiful. I'm like, okay, wow. Now those are the curls that I want, but this is what I got. And I'm trying hard to be more thankful for it, because I sound selfish, I sound vain, and I sound horrible to myself. And I know that, and I still can't get, it's me. And the effects of constantly being told what pretty is, what's acceptable, it has a lot of us with huge, deep insecurities and wounds that are cut, and no one is trying to heal, because we cannot just tell someone, you're beautiful just as you are. You're beautiful just as you are. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to accept these wrinkles and these jaws that are beginning to sag, and the fact that I don't have teeth, I got dentures, and the fact that I'm just getting wrinkly, and I'm trying to accept me. Now, they said change can come, but I don't know if it's going to be easy. Might make that headache go away. Because, I don't know, I think that got something to do with these teeth. Because I could not afford expensive dentures. I had to, and I'm not a what is it? I smoke weed and I drink alcohol. And long before I started even drinking alcohol and smoking weed, I remember my first cavity was like at the age of, I'm gonna say 15, and by 16 the tooth had to be extracted. Then the one next door to it started. Even after the tooth was gone and there was no signs, and they looked, that little pick, that little metal pick, I don't think that metal pick is good for your teeth. Because I remember someone scratching on my gum line with that little metal pick so hard, and they actually hit my gum. My gum started bleeding. And I took notice. I'm like, okay, if it can split my gum like that, imagine what it's doing to my tooth. And I chewed tobacco too. And so that made my teeth, probably help make my teeth decay faster, because all the enamel, so everything just could go inside and attack that tooth, and my teeth began to rot out. And that may be why a lot of people's teeth begin to rot at the gum line, and they probably have went for 50 years with good teeth, and all of a sudden they develop a cavity in an area, maybe just on the side where they chew at, and they say don't even use a hard toothbrush, but yet they screw up that metal pick on our tooth like that. So I don't know. I think that if your teeth are, and that's supposed to screw up the plaque away. I don't know. I think that was build up from the chewing tobacco that was on the bottom of my teeth that was being called plaque. So, and that plaque builds up inside of the body also, and can clog the arteries. So, and I still chew tobacco to this day. Hard habit to break because it's so sweet and juicy. Bing! Until you chew all that sweet juice out of it, and then it's just gone, and it's just bitter. And that's just me these days. I'm just bitter. I am. I can't even lie about it. I don't even want to be bothered. I just don't. And But I'm beginning to enjoy being bothered by my grandchildren in my own home. I am. I was being bothered by them living with them, and they've gotten older, and they hear less and speak more, and loud, and everybody wants to be heard, and they still want to hear the TV. And they coming down here trying to train me. Grandma, turn the TV up a little bit. And I'll turn it up just a little bit. Because, see, I don't hear real good. I feel like the doctor said there ain't nothing wrong with my hearing. But it's like I can hear like high-pitched sounds. And my nose stays stopped up all the time. All the time. And in the nose sprays, I might have 2 or 3 good days. Oh, okay, I know. I forgot. I mowed grass Sunday, I'm going to say. And I think that might be why. It got a little clog up in here. And anyway, I have been spending more time with my grandchildren now. And a lot less time in my thoughts, and trying hard to stay focused on the positives, and to know that, one day I am going to die, whether I'm ready or not. And then I go into this divine state, and it's called divine waters. And in divine waters, there is a way for mankind to live. But it takes love, and it takes people willing to sacrifice the knowledge that they have. And I love accents, if you'll notice. I do. And I like, in my mind, okay, when I'm thinking, and this is like something new to me, to share my thoughts and verbally do it, because I was writing most of it down and never ever going back, building on what I brainstorm, because I'm really not a writer. So I don't know where to start, where to begin. But in my little series, and I want it to be a series of books, and the name of it is like going to be named after people who I love. And the way they live on now is in here, people who I admire most. And I got even people in here I ain't even never met who are in my bloodline. But I do have images that were captured of them. And I must say that my great-grandmother was like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Her face is just like, let me go see how. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So this is what I see. Like, her skin is, and my grandmother was just as gorgeous to me. My grandmother was so beautiful to me. Hold on. I can't flip. I don't know how to flip if it's capable. This is my great-grandmother. She's gorgeous to me. My mother oftentimes talked about her mother. That was her mother. And her mother was a nurse midwife. And she delivered all of her children. And although I wasn't delivered by her, I was delivered at home. I was a home birth. And with me not leaving outside of the Great Walls of Monticello too many times, I didn't know, the other people being birthed at home too. I'm thinking everybody born at home. At home. No. And then for years, I thought I came in a suitcase. My brother and my cousin, who's 4 years older than me, they told me that this lady, a white lady, brought me in a suitcase. The stork didn't bring me, because mind you, at this age in life, I'm thinking that the stork is the person that brought me, for real. For real. Little children believe that stuff that you tell them, for real. They ain't got no reason to believe otherwise. And the stork brought me. Until I learned I came in a suitcase. Because I went in there and I asked my mom, and she verified that shit for me. Well, for them, she verified it for them to me. I'm like, and then I learned where babies really came from. Man, what a letdown. You mean they really, it's gonna come from there? It's supposed to get here in a suitcase, though. Somebody's supposed to deliver this baby in a, no, this is not supposed to, it's supposed to come in a suitcase. No, it does not come in a suitcase. I learned that I was a special delivery by a lady who was a nurse, and I was telling her that story, and we were laughing about it. And she said, you were a special delivery. That's why you came in a suitcase and not by that old drunk stork. That is just too funny to me. And because I truly believe that. I don't even remember. I don't remember the age I learned different. Because you honestly don't know. Oh my gosh, because we have babies believing that a stork brought them here, but that's not the case. That baby coming out of yonder, you know what I mean? Whether you wanted to come or not, you better get ready, because you better, and if them doctors tell you to exercise, get you a little walking in, get you some nookie and all of this stuff. Kick them heels up high. Keep right on moving and doing everything that you was doing, because when that baby get ready to come out, it ain't gonna be easy, I promise. And you do want to exercise, and you want to do some squats and just circle it around and all of that good stuff, because when that baby come out, ain't gonna be no laughing. Don't let them mess around and give you some of that medicine that make you go into labor. That stuff had me. He said that I thought your head was in the spray. Hell, I did too. I was feeling everything else. I thought my head was just gonna do a complete 360. I thought that I sat up, I had one foot hanging on the left side of the bed, the other foot hanging on the other side of the bed, and I was just rocking back and forth. And then it just started projecting. It was great. Oh, I'm glad I can look back on that and laugh, because Rashad is grown now, and that was him. And he was the smallest one that I had, 5 pounds and 2 ounces. And then Lofi, his older brother, he was born side the road. I'm laying on my side, just whole squeeze like you're squeezing an apple between your thighs. Don't let nothing move. And I said the baby coming anyway. And it wasn't a deep pain. It wasn't until those drugs that made it like so hard. And it was a lot of discomfort, but the pains would go away. And the pains weren't real intense. They weren't real intense. And not like the first couple of babies. So, but it's like being a mother has been one of the greatest joys in my life. And it may not be the case for a lot of people. But my grits, I forgot about it. I got me some grits on the stove. It has been one of the greatest joys that I have known. Like, it's like a part of my bloodline going on. And your bloodline living on and on and on and on and on and on. Like that invisible tree. Like that bloodline. That bloodline that a lot of us got bloodlines that we come from. And we call them family. That's like blood. That's like part of a huge invisible tree with branches that just stretch so far, so far, so far, and so wide and so high. And, you know, so many are in the ground now. But yet we continue, our bloodline continue on. There were many whose whole family, everybody was wiped out. Everybody. At least that's what they thought. That's when I go back to Divine Waters. I just read the report and all of the things that were given in the Bible. And the Bible is supposed to be a holy grail. So perhaps it told the life of a general, a man who had many identities, a secret agent, a spy. A spy. That's what he really was. He was he was a spy. He went and he studied people, and then he figured out how to defeat them. He even blended in, spy, pretend they're your friend. Look for the thing that they can use that make you weak, or create their own things like drugs, alcohol, poison, locusts, lethal gases, anything that can be used. And those methods are still being used. Torture, ripping people apart. What did they do with all the flesh? Maybe they ate it. I mean, we don't know. We do know that God did want Abraham. No. Which one was it? God. Did he tell Abraham? Was it Sarah and Abraham and their son Isaac wanted him to tie his hand behind his back and sacrifice him so that he could have something to eat? Okay. The shock of it has worn off, because the first time I read it and then nobody else. Okay, so that's acceptable. It's acceptable. Inside of this thing, when I begin to see it that way, I no longer want it to be a part of this thing that I see as a cult. He was sacrificed. And we hear that things like that occur, but they were called cults. But the cult part was wiped away from it, trying to clean it up and try to continue to brainwash people with certain methods. And here I am. I'm a follower. I'm always following beside. Will you give me a job? And then I look at a system that was set up so bad against a certain few people, and we read about it in the Bible, but because it is not a part of this government, it's like the forefathers of that government. It's like a system that does not change, that's trying to set itself up strategically around the whole globe. Just trying to set itself up strategically around the whole globe. Got weapons planted out off the shores, in the waters. What all of those weapons they're strategically planted in certain places. See, that's how I think. And that's where I live, in fear of a system that could gun me down at any minute, even in my own home, and get away with it. All because they fear what people will think of you, will people listen to you, will people stop following after their ways and start simply thinking for yourself. You sit down and you write a note to yourself. 1, would I want this done to me? Would I write it 100 times? You got to, I don't care your arthritis fucking with you. I wanted to fuck with you. The way you done fuck with others for I don't know how many years and decades and so on and so on and so on. Because we don't know how far back that shit go. Just probably happened to get this book, a top seat, a shit that truly incriminated God because it was written. The things that he had done. Even the red was in his handwriting. This is God's word himself. Anything in red. Used to build a case against him. And then where he was on the run. You can't tell me. You cannot tell. Or maybe they were sitting in jail all together having a conversation and God was writing. Just writing. Ask everybody for who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We weren't there. Where did it come from? We know we got a book of Judges up in there too. We got the 10 Commandments, the laws, and all kind of things in that in the life in the time. What was it? Was it a stage play? Did these things not really happen as people say they did? I don't know. But I just know that the effects of whatever was written in that book still affects us today. We are still suffering as a result of it. And we still got people who truly in their mind think that they are better than others just because of the color of their skin. That is not the case. And not even the contact of your character. But what makes you different is going to be, and I think we all have the ability to kill. Just that some of us don't act upon it. And some of us really don't want to. We don't want to. Don't mean we won't if we have to. We'll even try. We'll even try. And then we saw we've read on many occasions where waters have been poisoned. Lethal methods that were used against people just to occupy their land. Just to get rid of them. Just to occupy their land. Just for the resources that were on that land. What made them think that they deserved it any more than anybody else? And it's frightening. And it's people like myself who are more aware, regardless of the color of their skin. They don't want a war. They don't want to go through that bullshit. Then you got these fools over here who trying to start one. Man, we trying to fall back from all that shit because we done seen too much about what done went down during wartime. We ain't trying to go through that. We ain't trying to bring that here. But you don't mind going to somebody else's neighborhood starting some motherfucking bullshit. Like them good old boys. The good fellas. The Shield. You don't mind going to somebody else's house. The Royals. You don't mind going up in my house, busting my door down. But then you gonna tell Neighborhood Joe that he can't bust in my house too. Why not? You bust in. You bust up in here. You gonna tell Neighborhood Joe that he can't shoot out the window at somebody's child while they playing underneath the gazebo. You did it. Why everybody else on the block can't do the same thing? Pop, I don't like you. Pop, I don't like you. What make you control the animals? I don't get that. I don't get that. What give you the right? Why do you have the power over me and not me over myself and others? No, people should not be allowed to barge into anyone's home and shoot them and keep on walking around like ain't nothing happened and plead with they self. See, that's what worry me right there. Them that kill you, get away with it. And they don't even see nothing wrong with it. And somebody who let them get away with it must be afraid. They got to be afraid of them themselves. Ooh, they petrifies me. Because I really know what they are capable of. Using people who What did they say? They went into the jailhouses, to the prisons, where they had some of the worst people, worst criminals, psychotic. Who knows why? Who knows? Who knows? Who did they follow? Who did they follow after? Because see, sometimes your leader is the reason you sick. Your leader. It's like children being fed a bad diet and getting, what you call it, diabetes at a young age, because they ain't eating right. They ain't eating right. Children getting high blood pressure because they ain't eating right at a young age. I need to feed my fish real quick before I forget. I gotta go out there more. I don't want to overfeed them. So a lot of people ain't been fed right. And breaking habits, that's the first thing that we fall in love with is sugar. If that's all you give us, that's all we ever done taste is sugar. I kept, from my last child, I began to learn more as I got a little older. Keep as much sugar as you can away from your child is what I began to do. And to monitor his diet a little bit more closely because of the things that I was learning as I progressed. And I like, you think you know everything. I did think I know everything that there was to know without doing any research. I'm like, then I learned this word called logic. So that was just, well, it sounds logical. I think that's the word, logic. And so I still thought I knew everything. Then I learned that I won't stop learning until I'm dead and gone. On that day, I'll take that. Then I'm going to learn how to die. Once I learn how to die, then I won't. Because dead is dead. If I come back 3-4 times for the actual death, well, she died 3-4 times. No, she died one time. Because ain't no coming back. Ain't no coming back. The heart might have stopped beating for a certain amount of time. And if death feel better than life, I might not want to come back. You know what I mean? So, because I don't. And that's how I pretty much spend my days thinking. And then I have to go over here and I have to try and remember to write down like something that I might want to include in Divine Waters. And then I don't. I'd be like, well, what's the use? No one will ever read, or because they can't read my gibberish. Because sometimes I go back and I have this little web page where I was going to write at, and sometimes I'll go there and write, and then sometimes I don't. And it's a long span. And then I'm like, one of the things that I do is I don't proofread. I don't go back and fix errors and clean it up and make it make sense even to me sometimes when I go back and read it, because my fingers can't keep up with my mind. And so my mind, it goes so fast. And again, you may not understand, but the weed helped me to slow down and think. Because I would just, from one thing to another. And I can stay more focused on one thing a little bit longer when I smoke weed. And I'm not for sure if it has to do with going all the time. Going. We get up early in the morning. As a child, I had to be up and going and in the car with Mom and Daddy somewhere around 5:30. Then they take me into my grandparents' house and I get back in the bed right there in between Mud and Poetry. Oh, no better place in this world than right there in between them two. That was the best place. Oh my gosh, I could just lay there And mother didn't mind me just curling up behind. Because I didn't come, mind you, from out of that cold bed by myself. Scary too. I was afraid of my shadow. Still am. Oh my gosh. And it's even worse today. And because I know why. I'm afraid of everything because I'm more aware. And instead of just going ahead on walking, minding my own business, no, I'm looking for copperheads everywhere because they say they're going to be worse this year. So that's just something to add to my worry because it's grass. They in the grass. They in the leaves. They hiding out. So when I'm walking, I'm just ready to ruin. And you may not understand that. And I walk through the house the same way because I have found snakes in my house before. And not in just one of the houses that I have lived in. And mind you, my house is old now. And it's a tad bit raggedy, but it is what it is. I cook like this because I'm still waiting on my stove to be hooked up. I had to wait to get a stove first. Probably moving in. I got a 1-eye little old unit here. Hot plate. And a toaster oven. Ain't nobody but me. And even when my grandchildren come over. And when my children come over. I got one burner right here. I got 2 crock pots. 2. And I had some good friends that gave me those crock pots. That was just something that was just like, okay, thank you. And I plugged them crock pots up in. If I want some beans that day or something like that, then I throw the beans in that crock pot. And then what's so funny about that crock pot is it was a crack pipe. My friend girl who gave me the crock pot has a real thick accent. And I was knocking on the door and she was saying something. No, we were talking on the phone. And to me, it kept saying like to come by because she had a crack pipe for me. I said, a crack pipe? I said, I don't smoke crack. She said, not crack. It kept sounding like crack pipe, no matter what she said. And that's part of the problem with my hearing is it may sound like one thing to me, but the other person over here will say that they said something entirely different. And maybe it's because I'm not paying attention. Maybe that's one of the things. But sometimes I'll rewind it back and try and listen. And I still have a hard time. And I have to jack the TV up. And then I still have a hard time understanding what they said. Although I can hear, I don't understand. It's like the words don't come through the same way. Because it didn't sound like they said moon. It might have sounded like they said noon to me. I don't know. Or it could have been like a word that might rhyme with it. So I don't hear the same, I guess the same way other people do, because this has happened, like, I've noticed it like 3 times. And like my children may have said something to me that was entirely not what they said, because it sounded like in my ear. It's like constantly stopped up. Constantly. But this one is even worse. It's like the pressure and all of this congestion in here. And I've stopped taking my pills so much because the pollen count has gone down a lot. So, and we've had this rain to come help clean it up. But I think it was the mowing of the grass, because it's stopped up. But the stuff will come out, but it's got that little tint to it. So I don't know. But anyway, I keep moving and I keep trying to progress, and hoping and praying that life would be, but I don't know if I'll ever feel secure in this lifetime. ever again, because I've seen so many things that have happened to others. And I think that that has made me aware of what other people are capable of doing and what other people will do to you with no regard to how it tortures you, how you're being tortured. And I don't know if allowing a child to watch Jason is a good thing. I don't think he can that done. No, now he might grow up to act just like Jason. I think it might be okay to teach one when they reach a certain age how to shoot a gun. I think that they should know how to. I think that they should know how to defend themselves, but I think that they need to be a certain age and they should have a certain outlook on life. And they should never know where it is. You still should keep it put up from them. You still should keep it hidden from them, the gun, and let them know not to touch it. Hey, even if you find it, do not put your hands on it. And I think that 6 is too young to start teaching them. Have to see how they are, how your child act, how before you would feel like they should get a gun, or teach them how to use one. But I think that 6 and 8 years old is too young to be teaching them about a gun. It might be okay to teach them that it's okay to have one, and to even sit down and start teaching them safety on a piece of paper to help them understand what's safe about having a gun is to be able to defend yourself, your loved ones, and your home. Not to take it out in the streets. Because if you take it into the street, you could get in real serious trouble just by having it. To take it and you don't need it could get you in real serious trouble. And they still ain't gonna listen. You know what I mean? They not. You had to keep repeating it. Got to keep repeating it. And they still not gonna listen. I wonder how many times does it take before they listen that you're not supposed to touch one. I didn't like guns at a young age, but my mom made me learn how to shoot. One of the conditions on me being able to go home after school by myself was to learn how to shoot the gun. Only thing I want to do is go there and look at TV or lay down and just do nothing. Clean up, maybe clean my room, because I had to keep my room clean. As a child, my mom made me get up every morning before I left the house. When I got a certain age, when I got old enough to make up that bed, my grandmama taught me how to make up a bed at a young age. And I was always so happy to help my grandmother. My grandmother was such a sweet, loving person to me. And she taught me how to make up a bed, how to make a bed. And I had to get out of my bed and make my bed. I always, if I had to go to the bathroom, of course, that was going to be the first thing that I did was go to the bathroom. If not, I was going to spread my bed up and then proceed to get dressed. And then I got older and I had found a job somewhere. And I had to start running some more for myself. I wasn't being ran out the bed at 5 in the morning to get in the car in the back seat and to fall back to sleep while Daddy was driving and wake up at Mud and Porch House and go inside. No, I was the driver of this car. Imagine that. How did it happen? I was the driver. Suddenly, wake up. We at Mama's house, y'all. Get up. Come on, get out of there now. Come on. I gotta go to work. And then they got old enough to get on the, well, no. See, what had happened was, I think Bridget was like 13, maybe 14 or 15 when we moved into this house. Because I had to move a lot because it was not that easy. When my mom passed away, I began to move at a more accelerated speed than I had in the past, because although I was married, we had to, from there, and then the house that we were living in when Jeremy was murdered. And then I briefly moved back in with my mom. I've been in and out with my mom on numerous occasions, and she didn't put me out. It's just that I felt like our relationship wasn't that good. And it kind of was like when I moved to Texas and came back, it's like my mom and I bonded finally. And our relationship grew in a different direction. And then I began to enjoy seeing her and being around her. And she began to treat me the same way. And she began to treat me more like a friend. And then my mom died in 2004 in February. And my son was murdered February of 2001. And February is a horrible month. And no matter what I'm doing, it's like I start having that depressed feeling because those anniversary dates of trauma, and it was the trauma and the date and all of that, I guess it began to affect you just maybe knowing that it's approaching this time last year, or it's another day in my cycle that I was struck with trauma. And somewhere in the atmosphere with the earth orbiting the moon, a horrible feeling went through for me. And when I live close to that place, maybe I still feel that feeling. I don't know. But I just start feeling bad. It was like I was kind of in shock because things like that should not happen. Things like that should not happen where we live, or around your home, or to your loved ones, or to an 11-year-old and to your child, or someone else's child, or to someone else. And then suddenly it happened to me. And I was in shock. I think I'm still in shock a little bit. But I remember what kind of helped me to come out of the shock that I was in was when I looked at the movie Click, and I went into panic because of some more things that happened to me in my life that I would not go over with right now. But anyway, how can I feel comfortable? I can't. And no matter who I vote for, well, they're not going to handle this situation with SHIELD or anyone and make people keep weapons at home. Every time I hear there's tension over here and there's tension over there. Well, there's tension, all y'all tension, creating tension, and all of that tension is causing tension in my hair. And I can't comb my hair straight, and it don't look nice no matter what I do to it in myself. And I don't even want to be bothered with what's going on out there. I don't. It frightens me. And I know I'm not the only one. There's going to be a whole lot of people who got time to sit down during the day who aren't so tired from running all day long, just all day long, running. And ain't paying attention to nothing that's going on around them. Not even seeing it on the news, and don't even have time, because when they get home from work, they still got to make sure that their loved ones eat, unless they stop somewhere and bought something on the way home. And now they got to feed them, and then they got to try to find time to unwind. And they can't even look at TV if they want to. It's lights out quick. Pew, boom. That was it for me. For many, many years, I didn't have time to look at TV. I had to be on the go. I had to get out that bed early and get going. And I had to leave my chair after my mom passed away. But because before my mom passed away, I could drop them off at her house. Even before Jeremy was murdered, I used to take him to my mom's house. And then I was advised that it'd probably be better for them to go home because they were hanging around with some little boys in the neighborhood and attempting to sell drugs for these little boys. And so, out of abundance of caution, I agreed to allowing him to go home. And it's something that I wish I had never done. However, I feel in my mind and in my spirit and in my heart that if someone had made him their target, that no matter what I did, they were going to get him anyway. Same way I feel about myself. That if someone really really want to kill me, they will do so. They'll make me they'll mark me as their target, and they will kill me. And I'm fully aware of that. And that's another reason I live in motherfucking fear. That right there. Be like, but what did I say? You can say something. Perhaps it's a word. Perhaps it's a word that they heard over and over and over. A lot of people go to sleep. Ain't never been no government agent. But you sleep with that TV on. That TV on. And all of that stuff just recording in your head, even though you sleep. And you just wake up mad and angry. Don't even know why. Don't even know why. Want to just kill somebody for no reason at all. And now you look at the news, and the news telling you that the blacks and the whites is still clashing. After all these years, we still ain't pulled it together. And still over yonder trying to tell China how to handle their business. And talking about that the slaves in line over here. No, the slaves ain't in line over here. The slaves over here done comes to killing each other now. There's a time when they would never not did that right there. Now the slaves done come to killing each other, and they done turned on each other, and the world watching. Then the world turns off. And the world don't want to be bothered because that's not what they want. They're not going to bring that here. We don't even allow their television here. We do not want our people to think that way. And we are not allowed on TV. No. Push all you want to. Nope. Because we don't believe in your way of thinking. Nope. 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 And we're not going. And then we tell, well, I believe that I got the right. Anybody who wants to see me, they got the right to see me. And you got to stop them. Because I got two. You got somebody you done planted it now. Or somebody you done persuaded. Somebody you done paid off to allow you just a little bit of support on their shoulders. And they go over here and they petition for the Christian church to come up in here. And then the hatred began, telling people that I'm error. You see, I'm white and I'm better than you, and I'm supposed to teach you. You're supposed to learn from me because we are white supreme. We've learned from a book in a classroom. While we've lived in houses. We've slept on beds. All while you've slept on the ground in tents with the animals. And you don't know how to read and write. And you didn't know how to throw a motherfucking spear either. You didn't know how to take your hands and craft one. And people were willing to sit down with you and teach you how to craft your own spear that you would turn around and jab them in the back with. Where's the love? There is no love. And I get that. But just because you don't love me or don't like me or don't respect me based on the color that I am, you don't gotta fuck with me, okay? Leave people alone. Start turning your motherfucking TV off at night before you go to bed, goddammit. You got to be a pussy not to want to sleep with. I can't say that. Because I like sleeping in the dark. And it might come a time in my life when I'm that pussy that want every TV on in the house. Lights on all the way far as I can see. I don't know. I can't say that. Might be a time. Might be a time. But if you just scared to go to sleep because it's dark, then you better cut them motherfucking lights off. Cut that goddamn TV off. If you ain't gonna turn that motherfucker off, turn it down and don't put it on that you got what's called Pandora. Or you got what's called a YouTube. You can go on there and you can put in some Buddhist calming music. Help your motherfucking mind to unwind. And learn how to motherfucking relax a little bit. Let your man have a bill at the house. God damn. Give that motherfucker a hall pass every now and again. It's okay. He still love you and still gonna come home to you. He just ain't gonna have to sneak no more. And that shit might not be so good if he ain't gotta sneak and get it. Here, baby. And you be like on Father's Day. Here you go. I know you really want to be with your woman. I'm going to let you be with her on Father's Day. Here you a hall pass right there. Go. Have some fun. Let him go. And you go somewhere and have you some fun. The money and the time that you could have spent fixing him a dental, go ahead on and spend that time and that money on yourself. Go ahead on and put you a mask on. Put 2 on. Because we got some strange shit going around. You hear me? Put you on 2 masks, girl. Go get you a pedicure and stop blaming the Chinese people around here. That's that motherfucking bullshit. That's that bullshit that make you discriminate against somebody. When you go, the China virus. They still don't know how that shit started and where it fucking came from. Can't find no origin. Talking about they believe it was something in the anteater family. Something I ain't never got all them scales on. First they said it was a bat, then it was a snake. Now they saying it's from the anteater family. They just don't know. Gotta have an origin somewhere, even if it's synthetic. Even if it was made in a lab. Breaking down the components is what they having a problem with. Because they dealing with something they've never seen before. Now, where did it come from? Did it come from something out of the water? I mean, we don't know. We don't know why it's so harsh. And is it synthetic? People are working on it. And if we do find out that it was a deliberate attempt on humanity to Thanos our ass, and I call it Thanos because that's what Thanos was trying to do. And see, because of my conspiracy theorist mind, I'm like, okay, did the man who wrote Thanos, did he know? And is this his way of telling us of what planning, like machines, really, really being manufactured? We don't know. You won't know until the motherfucker bust in your door and you hit them, you chop them, karate chop them. Ha! And they might have started on them back there during Terminator time, during them days. Been manufacturing and working on them. You know, we had read that the Chinese had said that they were working on them. They were looking real too, but you could still tell they were moving like a robot. What they done twerked them. They done twerked them. So they got the loops and all of that and just went in and got a man. He's a real man. A real man. Real people who are just being allowed to have their joints, their bones removed, and metal bones and metal plates put in their skulls all around them and in their chest, and everything is a metal plate put around all of their organs in here, inside of them, making them kind of like robotish. But some places can't be covered, like the joints. And that's what was going on with Transformer. You can get it in the joint of the arm, but you can't even aim for the heart. But the eyes, and they had laser beams, because it's like a real mind, this mind in here working this robot, his mind, and a chip in the brain making it work it. I mean, that's one of my stories, my storylines in Divine Waters. But it's something that I think could be realistic. That's just me. Oh, she's a fool. I think that they could work a whole lot of shit in the labs that you probably don't know about. Probably a whole lot of stuff going on up in there. Because I'm a dingbat, and because there's no scientific evidence whatsoever to support those theories, but yet you believe in God. Have a blessed day.